Yam
Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati
Ashtadashaധ്യാयி
Ambattvamanu
Ambattvamanu
Santadami Bhagavati
Okay. They employ illegitimate means for enjoying desired objects. These are people.
Verse 11.
The Asuri Sampad continues, yeah.
Okay.
These are people whose concerns have no limits. Aparimeya.
Aparimeya.
They are full of anxieties. At least one would think they could give up their concerns in old age, leaving their affairs to their children and live a contemplative life. But their worries continue right up to until the time of death, their death. Pralayanta. Until then, they are worried about their possessions, who owes them money, their children, and so on. Given to these concerns, they are intent upon enjoyment of sense objects. That alone is foremost nothing else. No dharma, no moksha, no viveka, only enjoyment.
Actually, Swamiji gave an example that there was a person who was very old and a businessman, very old, and he was more than 80. He was on his almost last years. He was in the bed and everyone was chanting around him, Rama Rama and all that. So that sort of a thing was going on. But he was not chanting, and so Swamiji or somebody, his disciple went and talked to him in his ears. The whole, all of the people are chanting so that you get some good gati when you depart. Because the idea of chanting, why are you not chanting? They may be chanting. I am worried about the cotton shipment that has to come from Carolina. North Carolina is famous for cotton. It seems is waiting for a shipment. I wanted to know whether the shipment has arrived. I want somebody to find out and let me know. That is, even that time they don't have the viveka. Just imagine. That's what. So I was rich and all, everything was fine. But still, at least, you are in the last stages, you must be able to switch off. That doesn't happen, he says. That's what this example is like that. You don't let go. Because your mind is always in that mode. No, it's on a groove, in a rut. What they call it, rut. You just can't think otherwise. You just keep thinking about that only all the time. That is what is happening. That's what he says, yeah.
Okay, on this point, I have a point to discuss. You see, what happens is when everything else is taken care of, like food, place, and then what we will get and all that, and then no other worries. Then what you say is possible. But in the normal life, we have to take care of. See, supposing there is going to be a storm. I will have to go and buy bread and keep it here. I have to buy provisions and keep it. I have to look for somebody to supply food, all that. So what happens in such cases?
Yeah. That is where the thing is that natural things happen naturally. In the sense, the phenomena in the sense, in a circumstance in which there is a storm, as you rightly say, or something is there, that you have to, whatever you are supposed to do, you will be doing. The thing is that work will be done. You don't assume doership. The thing is that work will be done. Your limbs will be doing, your mind will be doing, your buddhi will be doing. But you will not take it upon your ego to say that I am doing.
Yeah.
That is not. That part of it will be silent and it will be praying, it will be in good spirits, good space. The other things will be done. That is what natural things happen. The phenomena will take care of. That is what I will send one this thing. That last Bhagavad Gita summary, Swamiji has said, no, Nyayasya Nitya Sannyasi. I have sent you.
Yes.
There I made a note of it. I will send it to you. What it means is, you will not push the envelope. Things will happen. You will do what you are supposed to do without any anxiety and all that, because you have that calm disposition, because you got that viveka. It is not that I am doing everything, but I will do whatever I need to do. I will do whatever I need to do without any self-anxiety that I am doing. You are in a position, you have to do your situation and you are capable of doing, you go ahead and do it. Without any sense of ownership that I am doing and no one else is doing, I am great. That sort of, no, that is where the ego part of it. It assumes a doership which it doesn't belong to it. It is all in the circumstances, whatever you've been given the capability to do certain things, you are able to go out and buy, you have the money to buy, all those things. But what is important is not to take it upon yourself. Your disposition will still remain in the calm disposition. You will have that space within where you understand the whole thing is the changing things happen. It's all in the what do you call, in the scheme of things. I do my bit. That sort of a disposition is what is required.
Yeah.
Here, what is happening, the example which I quote, he doesn't have to do anything. He knows that everyone is around him. He knows he is on the deathbed. So he is supposed to, what is appropriate for him, but at least everyone else, they are showing him, see, do Rama Rama. So even if you cannot do it, like you are not, just you be silent and listen to it. That is what happened to my mother. When she died, when she was about to die, she was given a book, Vishnu Sahasranama she used to read, but she couldn't read. She read and just left the book. But all others of us were surrounding and reading it, and she was just listening and she passed away. So that is important. They must be able to, what do you call, at least when your faculties fail, you must be happy. Okay, now I can't do anything, let me be with my what do you call, my reality. For that, there should be a sufficient, you should have the jnanam or the reality understanding should have gone sufficiently in you by the time you reach that stage in life. If you don't do that, you will get into a rut. Because you have not prepared yourself for that. You know only about business, money. So at the last moment also, that is why Shavara Galatha Shankara will not happen. Because you have not prepared yourself for that. That is precisely what he is trying to say. It is not that we have to do what we are supposed to do, but that doesn't take the space away from your inner disposition. The disposition is going, not exactly, work is being done, not you are not doing. There is a difference between the two.
That is, I must not take the pride. I must not take the pride that I have done this.
Yeah, but that is because you have not something, you don't have something better to look for in life. That is why you think that this is okay, at least this way I will have some satisfaction.
So this is my duty and I am doing it.
That is
it
something.
is being done instead of that. Instead of saying I am doing it, I will say it is being done.
It is being done. You are not digesting food. The food gets digested. You play a very small part in the upkeep of your body while eating food. 90% body does. You just put your food in your mouth, that's all. Yeah. At least that you should do it carefully with prayer. That's all what is it. That is precisely, we don't, the identification is so much that we think that everything we are doing, because ego has not got it has not got enlightened. It has not seen something higher. That is called Paravidya. The higher Vidya, you have not got it. That is why lower Prakriti. Upper Prakriti is called lower Prakriti, that includes Maya as well as your ego and all that. Whatever is being legitimately done, dharma, karma, rituals, everything is Apara Vidya only. Lower Prakriti only it is. Even though we are doing whatever we are supposed to do, that's all a lower meaning what? Something higher is waiting. What is that higher? The reality understanding. It's all happening in my awareful being. The whole thing is happening because the motion is possible because of the intelligence, the what we call Shakti, all are flowing from that Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna, the being, the reality of Ishvara and me. From that, the whole thing is happening. Whatever moves is happening in the move, changeless. அப்படிங்கிறதுல ஒரு சத்தியம் ஏற்படும். That is what we have done in the 15th chapter. The 15th chapter talks about that. Uttama Purushasthu Anyaha Paramatma iti Udagritah Lokam Avishya Vibharti Avyaya Ishvaraha. Who is doing all that? Vibharti. He is taking care of Avyaya, the changeless Ishvara. Who is that Ishvara? Uttama Purusha. That is you. which is beyond the Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha. Anyaha, it is not different from Ishvara. Uttama Purushasthu Anyaha, Paramatma idi Udahrutaha. So, having understood that, once that understanding is Nichaya is there, then you will, it's all happening. It's all happening. The phenomenon is happening. You are the nominal. In you, everything happens. And you meaning Ishvara Swarupam is you, basically. That is why the Ananya Bhakti. So, when you are, by the time you grow old and you are capacitated not to do anything or just waiting for the death to come, you must be happy that I am one with Ishvara. I have nothing else to do. I will just be, my prajna will be with Ishvara. Let everyone else pray, whatever it is, I am ready.
Swamiji, actually,
So happy we should be. When we are on the last day, we should be happy.
Swamiji, actually, when we read in the Puranas and also the discourse, if you have Ananya Bhakti, they say Jnani, he is saying that we have to prepare ourselves. But the Jnani sits quiet and is very confident that God will somehow provide him. And
That is true.
Also.
That's
But
true.
we
What I
cannot
am
do
telling
that.
is, even if there is a situation like, okay, there will be always in the house, there will be always somebody old, we cannot do anything, he can only advise. He must do this. Others must be able to, whomsoever has got limbs and all that, the money, wherewithal and all that, they go ahead and do it. They will do it. It's not that, but everyone is not going to sit like that. But when you are in a position, when you are, that is the idea of the old age in the sense, as you grow older, you are supposed to mature with age. Otherwise, only age, you don't mature. So that is the situation he is talking about. That is why he says, in spite of they could give up their concerns in old age, leaving their affairs to their children, live a contemplative life. That is what is being talked about. So, in the sense, the idea is there is always work happening in the scheme of things. There will be active people, there will be dull people, there will be thinking people. All that we have seen, Rajas, Tamas, and all that. But when we are in the old age, we are as good as children. The child does not do anything; he just remains in bed, sleeps all the time. So in the same way, we must be ready for old age. But only that child does not know out of ignorance, here out of maturity. In old age, you have seen the life, the ups and downs and all, you have seen, and you have, along with that, you have prepared yourself, you have understood the whole thing is the movement, it's all happening in the consciousness of Ishvara, and whatever goes up will come down. Okay, I've seen all that, I've eaten enough, I've gone to enough parties, I've made life, I'm happy with Bhagavan that I've done everything, now I am ready to be one with you. That sort of a contentment, that space has to come with, that comes only with, along with living a sagacious life, you have to learn, you have to understand that maturity, the Viveka Vairagya has to come in. That is precisely what he is talking about. When it doesn't happen, you are left with Asuri Sampat. You are just, even while going, you are not a satisfied person. You go carry all the vasanas of Asuri Sampat, you will come back as a cruel animal or a cruel person. Either way. What is the point? That is what he is saying. That is what the Asuri Sampat is all about. You must acquire Devi Sampat. Be one with Krishna. It is only natural progression. Asuri Sampat is unnatural progression. That's what, yeah.
Given to these concerns,
But this rule applies to us, Swamiji, from Bhagavad Gita. But there is one story, one man, he had two sons, he calls Narayana, so Narayana gives him moksham, like that kind of one story is there, no? That story is little different from what we are talking right now.
Stories, Puranas are all there.
Yeah.
But Puranas have, sometimes the Puranas are, not all Puranas are in the right thing. There are certain Puranas you have to choose. You can't keep on. In Garuda Purana, there was one Arvachina Garuda Purana talks correctly. Later, the Garuda Purana talks about all, puts fear in your mind. All those, so we cannot really go by the Puranas. Purana is Smriti. Shruti is first. Gita is the sense gives you the correct picture, and then you can read Purana, take it on a limit basis. You don't have to take everything that comes your way of Purana and all. Yeah.
We are in which verse actually? Verse 21, huh?
No. It is only
11 and 12.
we are in 12.
Chapter 16, 12.
We are in 12.
Well, Asuri Sampad, we are
Given to these
Bhavan Swamiji
concerns,
is explaining. Yeah.
given to these concerns, they are intent upon enjoyment of sense objects. That alone is foremost, nothing else. No dharma, no moksha, no viveka, only enjoyment. To the extent that objects are available to their satisfaction, they can be happy. And the pursuits are backed by the philosophy that there is nothing more in life. Life is only this much. This alone is the human end. There is nothing beyond it. This is their conclusion. Yatavat iti
Nishchitaha.
nishchitaha.
This is how it is. That they have concluded already. Because there is no point, no, at this point in life, you can't get Viveka at the end of your life. You have to develop Viveka. Otherwise, you will end up like this. That's what he said. Yeah.
Did you find? Prashant, did you find?
Pasha, Pasha.
No, that is
No,
the
they are
next
bound.
para is they are bound.
அதுக்கப்புறம் they employ illegitimate means.
That's second para.
They employ illegitimate
He had
means.
finished.
Yeah, that second
He
para.
has finished. Second para.
Well, second paragraph.
They are bound, but
Yeah, correct.
Padi.
shall I read because I didn't read?
Okay.
Padi.
Yeah, read.
They are bound, Badaha, and the binding material is hope and greed. If it is a single binding hope, one can perhaps free oneself from it. But they are bound by hundreds of aspirations. Asa, Pasa, Satai, Badaha.
Asha Pasha. We say no Asha Pasam. This is what Asha Pasam. Asha Pasam. Actually, in our colloquial language, we say Asha Pasam means something great. That is precisely the whole, no, because of the usage in the society, and the society has been so much driven on Asha Pasha. You think that Asha Pasha is there, you are a very nice person. Which is not so. When you are Asha Pasam is mind. Pasha means banda. By Asha. Asha means Asha desire. So desire becomes a banda. That we have said. Bandhanat pramuchyate. We have seen in this 5th chapter itself. Bandhanat pramuchyate means what? Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho bandhanat pramuchyate. Bhagavan has told to Arjuna. Nirdvandvo hi means what? Asha pasha rakitaha. Without asha, it cannot allow desires to become a bandhanam for you. So you must not look at even the results, as I was telling. Ishta, Anishta, the word ulla pokudadu. Once you get that Ishta and Anishta, then Sukha Dukkha comes foremost. Look at a situation as situation, not as Ishta or Anishta. Nirdvando hi mahabaho. If only you don't appreciate, you don't look at situations as opposites. Opposites means mithya. Once you look at situation, I like it and I don't like it, then you are bound to get caught in Baddha. So, Nirdvando hi mahabaho Sukham Nirdvando hi mahabhaga.
Digbandhat pramuchyate.
Rewrite. I mean, your internet frozen.
Aspirational society we talk about, no? Now, Modi
your
says
internet
India
was
is an
totally
aspirational
frozen.
society and all.
Your picture and everything was frozen
For some time.
for 2-3 minutes.
No.
For me?
No. When you were talking about Gita.
After you talked about Asa Pasa, totally frozen. Only now you are on.
Yeah. So what we then generally we say now we are an aspirational society. The aspirational society is okay in general to keep the people active. In the sense, there is a stage in life where demography of the society is around 30 years, 40 years and all that. People have to be active. They should not be dull and not working and all that. That's all fine. But in the context of the individual growing, mature and all that, slowly and steadily he has to get out of his asha, pasha, contentment, so that we must be able to understand that they are only binding you, keeping you bound rather than making you free. Those things we have to understand. That's what he says. So we have to look at the whole teaching from what we have gone through before. What is asha, pasha means what? It is basically the asuri sampad. It is not devi sampad. Devi sampad is vivekam and vairagyam, contentment, chitta samadhanam. So all those things we have seen. In contrast to that, the context of that asha pasha is sataihi baddhaha. We should not be get involved in that. That's why the context is, as you grow older, as you become more viveki and vairagi, that's meant for those people. As you move into this understanding, it is only, it takes time for you to get go through all these things. By the time you age, you mature also, you get out of all these things, you get out of this asuri sampad, all the time rajasic, aspirational. Instead of that, you can have contentment, allow the next generation to take over, let go, live a simple life, all those things. In that context, it becomes very relevant. Yeah.
Once one is
Fulfilled.
another rises, Padi
You-
is gone. Once one is fulfilled, another rises, and thus there is no hope of fulfilling these hopes. And they are committed to desire and anger, kama, krodha, parayanaha. Everybody has kama and krodha, but they are paramount for these people. We try to find means to be free from our anger, but anger is a value for them. It's a means to be free from our anger, but anger is a value for them. It's a means of controlling people and getting what they want. The basis of that thinking and activity born of that thinking is only in kama and krodha, not in dharma and adharma, or nitya and anitya. These do not come into picture at all for them. Then what do? They engage themselves, tante,
Ihante. They engage themselves. Ihante means they deliver themselves into the hands of desires. You deliver yourself in the hands of desires. That is called Ihante. Yeah.
they engage themselves, tanta.
Ihante.
Ihante, okay.
Yeah.
Ihante. For the purpose of enjoying desired objects, kama bhogartam. First of all, the accumulation of wealth, artha, sanya, sanchayan.
Artha Sanchayan. Sanchayan meaning
Sanchayan.
you are pulling. Artha. Because you don't know anything else. You've been always doing all these years, especially as you grow older, you are not going to build up any more viveka. What will happen at that time, after 60, 50 and all that, what you start indulging in, that becomes a value for you. That only is a value. So you are now in the 50 to 70, you are very active and very high profile. You already reached a certain position in life where you have done a lot of achievements. Now you are so much hooked onto it, you dwell on it all the time. Ihante, you deliver yourself into the asha, pasha, achievements, getting money, going to the stock market, all those things. So that becomes, at least earlier in life, there was a scope. There will be some prayer, something and all that. You will be along with that doing work. You will also prayer because you are not very sure because whether you will be getting your promotion or whether everything will go well. So some prayerfulness and all will be there. But by the time you had the prayerfulness, you got what you wanted and you grow and now you have become powerful, moneyed person. Now you think that is what is, see, I have achieved. That is what is everything in life. Now come on, I will. So thereafter Viveka is not going to come. So that you totally deliver yourself into what has worked for you. You get angry, so many people respond. So think, correct, this is the way to work. This only works. You also start making a philosophy out of it. Only by getting angry, you will get things done. Because you have your faculty of viveka and prayerfulness is already been left behind. Those they have served their purpose. Now you have become powerful. Now you are into that rut of power, money, business, etc., etc. You get totally sold to that is called ihante. That's what he says, ihante. So that means it is a means of controlling people and getting what they want. The basis of their thinking and the activity born of that thinking is only kama, krodha, dharma, adharma, prayer, nitya, anitya, viveka, everything is left behind. Okay, if you have not made your life, you are still struggling, perhaps there is a choice. Still you will be prayerful and all that. But you have become very successful and become powerful and you are controlling a lot of people, money and all, that is the asuri sampad. That is a curse on your life, actually speaking. It is not a blessing, it is a curse. First you have to understand that it is a curse. Okay, whatever I have made, because I was in the right time and right place, since I was prayerful, I have got all this money, position and all that. Now let me let go. Let me become more prayerful. Let me teach these values to the next generation. Let them tell them, see how I was also struggling, but I was prayerful. I was dharmic. I had the understanding of what is dharma and adharma, and I always preferred what is the nitya nitya vastu viveka. Now I have understood that whatever has happened is all in the Ishvara's domain. I am grateful I was in the right place at the right time, so I have made. But now I will spend more time with Ishvara. Now you take over, but you also be prayerful, be mindful. Don't take it upon yourself. So if you have the wisdom, you will have that wisdom to share with the next generation. Otherwise, you will also get into the rut. And people looking at you also, if they are inspired by you, they will also become like that. Unfortunate. That is called Asuri Sampat. It will spoil not only you, people around you also. That is what. No, we don't understand the implications of all these things. We have to understand the implications. Then we will be, even though when we grow powerful, money and all that, but still we will keep those values. So, okay, they have their place, but my value is what I have, because of which I had the grace of making all this money, making my life good. It is because of the gracious presence of Ishvara in my life. Because of the Viveka, I did the right things. I had dharmic, I had nice people around me. I treated them well. That is why I have grown. So all those things, we have to bring in the positive values, Devi Sampat, which we have discussed before, and get ourselves engrossed in that rather than into the Asuri Sampat. That's what he says.
How?
Not by.
Artha Sanchayan. How? Not by following legitimate means, but those that are anyaya, illegitimate, not sanctioned either by Shastra or society. The means they employ are both unlawful and unethical.
See, this is what is being talked about by people who have gone into that mode. When they grow old also, when they got into that mode, power and money is everything, then those people are being talked about. Yeah.
Shankara explains that it is robbing others' wealth, occupying others' property, and so on. Encroaching upon land occupied by someone else, you may call yourself a pioneer, and anyone who comes later is an immigrant.
Typical, for America he is telling.
Yeah,
Actually, America is all land of immigrants. They call themselves pioneers. They came from Europe and occupied, drove away the Red Indian natives and made themselves a country. And they call themselves pioneer. And today, whomsoever coming from outside, they are called immigrants. This he has written 30 years back, and today is coming to be true. See, today it is coming to be true. They are calling all others immigrants. They themselves were an immigrant society. That is the beauty of it. That is what happened. The Asuri Sampat is typical. So because you don't have any other value, you don't have something better to look forward to in life. Where is Sanatana Dharma? Where is Viveka Dharma? They don't understand all those things. They won't even understand that language. That is the situation. That is the most saddest part of it. You don't know that you don't know. And you are living in your Lala land. And you are also pulling so many people, generation of people along with you. That's the problem, yeah.
But it is acquiring property illegitimately, anyayena. Wealth is gathered by these people not for distribution but only for their own enjoyment. After a point, it can be purely egoistic also. Once you have whatever is necessary to live comfortably, further accumulation of wealth is different. You cannot travel in more than one car at a time. Even in one car, you can only occupy one seat. Similarly, even if you have many houses, some having even 25 rooms, you can only sit in one room in one house at a time. Then again, you can feed only one stomach. And generally, people who have this kind of wealth have digestive problems because of their anxieties, chinta. They cannot enjoy their food at all. Once they have achieved certain buying power, further amassing of wealth is purely ego inflation. They want to have more and more so that they can compare themselves.
Their way of thinking is very calculated. Ida madhyamaya labda vimam prapsye manoratam idam asti idam apime bhavishyati punardanam idam asti idam apime bhavishyati punardanam Abhya today, Maya by me, idam labdam, this is gained, idam manoratham, this which is pleasing to the mind, prapsye, I will gain, idam dhanam, this much wealth, me asti, I have, punaha, later, idam api, this wealth also, me bhavishyati, I will have. Today, this is gained by me. I will gain this also, which is pleasing to the mind. This much wealth I have, this wealth also I will have later. So they think. The pattern of thinking is very calculative. Such a person is conscious of what wealth he has today in the form of money and property, both movable and immovable. Every day he counts what he has gathered and he measures it against his plan for all the things he has to accomplish to please his mind, Manoratha.
Manoratha. Manoratha, we sell the Manoratham. It's all castles in the air. Yeah.
He has a day-to-day plan, a weekly plan, a monthly plan, an annual plan to gather what he thinks he needs to please himself. He adds up the wealth he has, idam dhanam asti me, I have this wealth, and calculates how much he will have later according to his plans and says, idam dhanam api me bhavishyati punaha, this wealth also I will have later. In this verse, where corporate philosophy is articulated very well, the whole aim is to accumulate wealth. With an eye on their current assets, corporate magnates plan for further profit and aspire to build huge corporations with astronomical holdings. However, to get this wealth is not easy because there are other asuras out there in the market that they have to contend with. Naturally, they have to destroy some people, but that is not a problem for them. Aso maya hataf shatrur anishye chaparanapi Ishwarohamaham bogi Ridvoham balavan sukhi. Swamiji, this one doubt actually. Many companies who were very successful in the olden days, like in history, today they are still continuing to do their contributions to the respective institutions in the same manner. And sometimes they end up sinking their own business, right? Now, from karma perspective, if you say that maybe they did not do their actual corporate homework in order to also manage the funding and the profitability of the company.
No. See, the karma part of it is, I don't think we should get too much into that karma because when it comes to samashti, the corporate, when it comes to corporate, it's not an individual. The corporate meaning so much of business and everything is there. Samashti prarabdha operates. You must not link yourself totally to think that because of me only it has happened. See, the individual viveka vairagya is being talked about. When it comes to the samashti, it is a samashti prarabdha, collective prarabdha of so many people. You can. That is why Bhagavan also said, what is that? The famous statement I always used to say, no, nimitta matram bhava savya sachi. You play your role. When you don't like this sort of a thing, you don't think. Just because you are in a position, a higher position and all that, there again you are only an individual. You can eat only this much, you can have, like we said, you can have only one room and all that. Just because you have become a corporate CEO or a big company owner and all that, don't assume all that to be you. Okay, in your nimitta, all this has happened. It's all meant collective. All suddenly, it's all meant for all the employees, all the shareholders, all the stakeholders. It is all for the society's benefit. If you are producing a product which is good for the benefit of the society, you produce it very efficaciously without creating any problem. That is why all these malpractices in the pharmaceutical companies. Because of that, people are dying because avariciousness, trying to do shortcut in production and all that. So don't do that. Is because you are trying to become God. You are trying to play God. Don't do that. You do your role. Even though you might have grown, still Varalakit doesn't become. So you play your role. Even if you become a CEO, don't have to think that I have to make a big, I have to buy that company, I have to put down this fellow, I'm so big. It's all, that is called ego. You are playing, the ego is playing you up. Because ego does not have, still it has not got the viveka to understand that the reality, ego is only a donkey. Whereas reality is awareful being, Ishvara Ananyatvam. That understanding viveka is not there. And because of that, dharma, adharma also is gone out of the window. Because you have become powerful. So it's all vitiated thinking. It is not good. Even though it looks like, okay, they are doing well and all, they may be not having a proper sleep also, I tell you. So these are all that is what we have to discern. We should not get carried away by somebody is successful and all that. Only success is you are able to do the right thing at the right time. That is the only thing that is successful in life. Dharmically, viveka, if you can live, that is successful living. That is why that book also Swamiji has made. If you are able to do what you are supposed to do and you are able to avoid what you are not supposed to do, that is successful living. Not making successful corporates. That is all happening incidental. You are at the right place at the right time, and because of the samashti prarabdha of so many people, your company is doing well. All the employees have done a lot of punya. That is why your company is doing well, not because you have done something great. This must be this awareness, this alertness should be there. You must not mix up the individual and with the corporate. And corporate is what samashti. Samashti operates on the nyaya of the Ishvara, and you must have that. Bhavyam, Vinayam should be there. You must surrender to the Ishvara. Oh, everything is happening well, it will happen well, let me do my part well. Let all my employees also be dharmic. That is the way we have to look at it. Yeah.
Aso Shatruhu, this enemy, Maya by me, Hataha destroyed, Hanishyecha, and I will destroy, Aparan api, others also, Aham Ishvaraha, I am the ruler, Aham Bogi, I am the enjoyer, Siddhaha, Aham, I am successful, Balavan, powerful, Sukhi, happy. This enemy is destroyed by me, and I will destroy others also. I am the ruler, I am the enjoyer, I am successful, powerful, and happy. Boasting, this enemy who was my competitor and who was standing in my way, I have eliminated. He celebrates the destruction with a few others like himself. Then there are others also, and he declares, I will destroy them too. Hanishyecha aparan api. Shankara calls these others, whom this person plans to destroy, as Varakas, pitiable people.
Pitiable people. Yeah.
Such a person is like the current day loan sharks who take
Current day loan sharks.
Loan shark.
Current day loan sharks.
Current day loan sharks who take advantage of people's vulnerability. They do not mind ruining even poor people to get money from them because the only goal is to amass wealth. If this type of mentality rules the economy, the poor become poorer and the rich become richer. People of this Asuri disposition are willing to destroy not only their competitors who are their equals, but also those who are poor who do not compete with them. Their opinion of themselves is that there is no one equal to them. Such a person was personified in Hiranyakashipu, Prahlada's father, who told his son, I am Ishvara, there is no Lord other than me. And he reprimanded Prahlada for chanting the name of Lord Narayana. The thinking of such a person is that he is the Lord of all people and everybody should look up to him. He will dole out their wages according to the work they have done, and he considers that he is the one who should have all the enjoyments at his feet. So he says, Aham Bogi. Then again, whichever way he looks at himself, he considers himself successful, Siddha, accomplished. Because of his wealth, people coax his friendship, and further Shankara adds, he has sons. If one has wealth and no sons, he is not considered successful because there is no one to carry on the family name. Thus he considers himself rich in every way. If he has children, grandchildren and all his relatives around him, besides the people who work for him. One may have all this but still not be able to enjoy any of it because of physical ailments. If you have stomach ulcers or you are deaf or in a wheelchair, what can you enjoy? But not this person, he is Sukhi. All his senses and physiological functions are active, and therefore he considers himself the happiest person. Again, it is possible to have all this but lack power and influence, and therefore be harassed by the authorities. When a person uses any means to acquire his wealth, he can be in a lot of trouble. All the judges and senators must be with him, and since this person sees that they are, he boasts that he is powerful, Balavan. What about others? Shankara says that he considers that they only add weight to the earth. They have no stature and are not worth reckoning in his view. Actually, Swamiji, reading entire 15th chapter, 16th chapter, while we read, as I read Swamiji, I have more and more questions, but I am parking them aside because I am thinking that as we read this further, we will get answers to all the questions.
Yeah. So it will tell, no. Sattvika, that all those things will come. You go through that. These are all giving you the scenario. Like after 15th chapter, as I was telling, what is Viveka, what is the Uttama Purusha, what is your reality, he has already told. That way the Gita is already over. Uttama Purushastu Anyaha, Paramatma iti Udahritaha, Lokatrayam avishya vibharti avyaya ishvaraha. That is your reality. That has already been told. But if how all these things are happening? Because of the Triguna Maya. In the sense, Sattvika Buddhi, Rajasika Buddhi, Tamasika Buddhi, the combination of all this from the society. So, Daivi Sampat means predominantly Sattva. Rakshasi Buddhi as well as Asuri Buddhi is predominantly Sattva, Rajasika and Tamasa. If that is the combination, all these sort of people, because people will still ask, when everything is very clearly told by Bhagavan, why this is happening? Why this is happening is because of this. All these combinations are available in the awareful being. When it is manifest, which I have told, when it manifests, it throws up every kind of possibility. So there is a possibility of a jantu of every variety, where the combination of sattva, rajas, tamas varies. So when that varies, these things will be there. Only that, so that they are there is not the issue. But that we are not alert to that. We have to open our eyes to be alert to that and move from Asuri Sampat to Devi Sampat. For that, having praised Devi Sampat, now we are doing the Ninda of Asuri Sampat. The same Ninda Stuti it is called. By putting down what is not right, you is creating a value in you to appreciate what is right. Now what is not right we are telling, so that you appreciate this. Now why I don't want to be, even if I grow in my life. And unfortunately or fortunately, the entire corporate world, most of them are like that. And the world itself today, if you look at the Trump and what we are hearing, most of them are matching with exactly what Swamiji says, what he has said 30 years back. It's relevant even today in society, and it is relevant even every time. Even in Bhartrihari time, 2000 years back, he also has lamented. Entire Vairagya Shatakam of 100 verses, he tells all these things. How people are so foolish. The same thing he tells verse after verse, 100 verses. He has lamented how the society was in his own time, 2000 years back. Even at that time, there were people like this. Even in Gita's time, people are like this. That is why he is mentioning, right? And only that Swamiji gives the color of this corporate, because the Asura of that time is different from the Asura now. That is what is giving changing the examples, that's all. But the attitude and the way in which you look at life is the same. That's what he is trying to say. That we have to appreciate. We should not, my God, in the sense you should not try to compare. My fellow, my boss is like Asura. You should not start labeling people like that. Because all of us have that tendency. Let us not become Asura. That is very important. When we grow, let us not become. And that is what we are alert to.
As you say, just to read this and absorb and understand, don't become judgmental. You will tell me.
Exactly. And also, where are the pitfalls? Even success can create you problems. You may get drunk on wealth, drunk on success. You should avoid that pitfall. That's what he's trying to tell. Yeah.
Yes, also Swamiji, if people are spiritually inclined, when they see others who are not that, they will think that they are great, they are very spiritual. And
that is also, the spiritual ego is dangerous, somebody used to say. More dangerous than wealth ego, at least. Wealth ego will be, once the wealth goes away, your ego will get punctured. But spiritual ego, who is going to puncture? You will say that I know. But that is why your living is very important. How you live, the understanding. The ego should be lightened first, and then it will get enlightened. Swamiji will say, first you have to lighten the ego. You should not assume that I have done it. I know Vedanta. No. What is my reality? At the end of the day, what is my reality is the being. That is the same for everyone, whether he knows Vedanta or not. So he must be empathetic to others, sympathetic to others. If somebody does wrong without knowing, you pray for him also.
The satsang,
so all those things, you have to become sober.
This satsang, when people come, and especially Nuchuru talks only Vedanta, some people will say, did you understand? I understood. And
that is very, that is again, even Paramarthananda's devotees, they keep talking in those terms. It's all very, very, that is where, from where you are talking, very important. Whether your ego talks or your ego has been enlightened sufficiently, that is why I always say the reality understanding, very, very important. What is my reality? My reality is the awareful being. Ego is only one part of the mind which helps me to go and take lunch, go to office and all that. Just coordinates my other coordinates, mind, buddhi and all that. Ego is just a central. Beyond that, ego does not have a value. Ego does not have a, what you call, as legs on its own. You are the reality, not the ego. That understanding has to be, when you are studying Vedanta, that understanding is very important. Then you will be humble. You will not try to compare notes with others, how much they know, how much you don't know and all that. How much it has really sunk in your life. Whether you are able to go, when you are outside the class, when you go home, whether you are able to live that small ways. Whether any good thing that happens, any bad thing, you are able to take up in the right spirit, still remain neutral, still remain dharmic. Okay, not when everything is convenient, I will be dharmic. But when it is not convenient, I will become a dharmic. That is not dharmic, irrespective, because whether I succeed or not, whether it becomes inconvenient or not, that is only what is happening in the larger scheme of things. That doesn't change my value in terms of what is dharmic and adharmic. Because once I become dharmic sometime and dharmic sometime, then I create a split personality. So what am I won't know. I have to be rooted in the being all the time. For that, I should not be a split. So I have to be always dharmic. What is appropriate to the given situation? To that extent, I understand, I do. Irrespective of whether it is going to give me something riches or not. If it comes, fine, thank Bhagavan. If it doesn't come, okay, I will get it tomorrow. Today it's not my day. For that, I won't compromise with the values. They're all those things, those learnings are very important. So it is not that how much you know in terms of text and language and information and knowledge. Learning, how much it has learned you to be the better person. Very important. That is how we have to look at the whole thing. So,
Swamiji, but just one question for 2 minutes. So, previously when people used to give something to do, assume that person used to always refute, argue, do everything. Now that person has completely changed, and when something is said, he's just doing right away. So there, they are telling, they are surprised that when a job is given, they are doing right away. Okay, let me put it this way. I used to do audits. When I used to question a lot of things and be judgmental, they will say, why are you asking this? And they used to overpower me. Now, whatever they give, if I do, they are telling, oh, nowadays I don't know why you have changed. Whatever I give, you are just doing blindly without any problem. Thank you, like they are telling. But on the other side, Swamiji, now they are even doing audits before even a process is completed sometimes. They are doing like that. Now, you keep quiet and you just do it, accepting it. Now they are telling, this person completely changed. They are not looking at it like they are completely changed. Now they are telling, okay, this person does not know. That's why he is doing like this. Like that they are telling.
Hey, that will always be there, Shan. People have their own opinion, have their judgments and all that. What we have to, whether we are doing what appropriate to our understanding, that we have to focus on. That is why I feel all the time this is more for living. Once we live our life in a very yathartham, with the sense, automatically people around, it will help. Definitely, it will throw the correct, what you call, the sense you become very predictable. They don't have to deal with you. They can count you in for any process and all that. So you become a, what you call, a contributor in the wheel rather than a spoke in the wheel. So these are all very important. So I strongly feel, in my understanding, this is how I have also gone through but I always focused on what I do. And it helps me to remain focused on be an integrated person. That gives me the space. That gives me to be able to, at the end of the day, I'm able to go and meditate and look at the day as how it is validated my understanding of life. So that is very, very important. We have to keep doing that. And I don't think there is any better way to live. Because as you say, in today's world especially, things change. We don't know really what is up and what is down. What is up today may be down tomorrow. What is down today may be up tomorrow. So we don't know really whether it is in the larger scale of things or in the individual's life also. So better to stay focused on what I know is right rather than assuming if I do this it will happen like that. No, don't over project. That is why living in the presence is very important. Not over project, not too much think you dwell in the past and all that. Then only you get distracted. So That is why today, Swamiji always today used to tell 50 years back, today it's much more relevant. This understanding of your being in the presence is the only reality. Everything else is past is history, future is mystery, is much more true today. Living in the presence is Vedanta. And be living in the being. And do what is appropriate to the given situation. Dharma and also all those varnashrama, everything has gone out of. Today you do what is appropriate to the given situation. To that extent you understand. If your understanding is wrong, you will correct it, will change. But to that extent you understand today, you do. Without being integrated person. You think this is what is right, I do, you go ahead and do it. There is no conflict within. Your thinking, your speaking and doing are aligned. The arjavam. That itself gives a lot of space inside. That is successful living, in my understanding. That is precisely what is being talked about. Yeah. So I think we will, we have to, there is no one equal to me, 15th we have to start with. We will do it.
Just to conclude, Swamiji, if you are not the decision maker, execution becomes very easy. Execution, accepting things and going about, many executions in one day is possible, rather than being decision maker and doing only one thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, decision maker has to be more, definitely. That is where you have to be very alert. You are in a position to make decisions for others also. Then in that situation, you have to be more responsible, more sattvic. In the sense, you have raised your level of thinking to the sattvic level you have discussed before. That is how it is. So we will start with 15.
Their opinion of themselves, we have to start with.
No, there is no one equal to me. From there we have to do.
This is their attitude.
You finished, all this?
Yeah.
What about others?
Shankara says that
Okay.
they have this he has read already. That they only add weight to the earth. They have no stature and are not worth reckoning in his view.
Okay.
That is what he has completed. There is no one equal to me. That is their attitude. That we will start.
Tomorrow, whenever we are.
Not tomorrow.
Whenever we are ready for the class.
Next week.
Next week only.
Next week.
We'll see you.
Yeah.
Om Swami.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्
Favorably with others.